Hi everyone, it's me. Thank you for being here and watching this video. I want to, and I know that I don't have to, anything that I do because I want to. Not because I feel the need to, or due to societal pressures, or because of feminism. It's just because I want to. This channel and blog is a way for me to have self-expression. And I think I said this before, but if you're not really your true, honest self, then you're not going to be really loved for who you are. Using a quick example, I was thinking about this earlier. It's a little later than I expected, so I think I'm only going to do this one video, because I have a few just shorter videos to do and upload. But to give you an example, if you think about a lot of the celebrities, and I will use one as an example because it relates to myself, not the celebrity part, but the CPTSD part. So, I've forgotten his name. Oh, Robert Downey Jr. In his young career, he was very popular. Then he got into drugs, alcohol, things like that. I don't know all about him, but I'm going to use him as an example. I don't know in his case, but like he's an example. A lot of celebrities are never really loved for who they are. The reason being is because everybody has this certain idea already of who they are. A lot of people get caught up in the famous person syndrome, getting really excited, treating them like they're above being human. So it's very difficult for them. And I truly feel that a lot of the times, this is why they do get on drugs, alcohol, things like that, because they are just like the rest of us, these people. I've already digressed a little tiny bit off topic, so because I can go way more into that, and I have a really good story, but we'll talk about it another time. The reason why I mentioned Robert Downey Jr., though, is because I was watching Iron Man, and I can't remember which one it was, but if you've seen the movies, I'm going to describe what it was, you'll figure it out. So, I believe it's after New York, whatever, that when he went up into the sky, I think, because he's having a panic attack, and he's got, I don't know, 11 or 12-year-old boy there, and he's having a panic attack, and he's running way back to his vehicle, and he's like, no, 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 not doing that, not doing that, nope, nope, see you later, bye, gotta go. And the kid's like, what's the matter? He's so confused, he doesn't know what's going on. And finally, Iron Man, Tony Stark, he gets in his car, and he's going to leave, and the kid's like, wait! He looks at him and he goes, why don't you just build something? And, and Tony's at the wheel, he's ready to go, he's ready to hit the gas, and then just stops, and you can see him processing it for a second. And he looks over at the kid and he goes, yeah, you're right. Thanks, kid. Goes and he grabs his sunglasses, puts his sunglasses off, and drives off. Problem solved, panic attack over. I was like, oh, he's got PTSD from what happened to him in New York. He doesn't want that to happen again. Scared the shit out of him. It doesn't make you a coward to be afraid, by the way. One of the most important things in my life, because it was a very big mountain to climb to get out of having low self-esteem. But I do remember what it was like. I'm just getting a little bit distracted because I keep visioning myself climbing up this mountain. Oh no, I lost my train of thought. Hold on. I remember. Took me a minute. Well, it's 20 after 1 in the morning. But I took a nap earlier. So, okay, I remember. One of the most important things that I learned in my life, especially because I had a lot of time to think. That's why I did a lot of reading and I wrote a lot of stories and things like that. But I had a lot of time to process my own life. And it took me, it wasn't overnight. Like, it was a process, like all things are. Almost like climbing a mountain or a set of stairs. But it was about how I mentioned how it scared the shit out of Tony Stark, and about being afraid, and there's no shame in it, because what I learned about that is if you're never afraid, you never... Salem and Marvin are wrestling. It's good, but if you hear them, Marvin might screech out. It scares me a little bit because I'm afraid he might get hurt. Because Salem is much bigger. Hey! Salem, be nice, boy. He bites so hard. We're going to talk about Salem later. Okay, if you are never afraid, like people who, you might have heard this before. If they say this, if you are never afraid, then you're stupid, or something like that. Sorry, I know that's a little blunt, but because sometimes you need to be. It's about survival too. Like, sometimes it's important to be afraid of things to know a certain level of danger. And if you're never afraid, if you never have a scary situation, and I'm going to give you an example. I got lots of them. Not showing off. You don't get the chance to be brave. You don't get the chance to show courage. And it's not about proving it to other people. I don't give a fuck what other people think. Despite, what people might think. The only reason why, like, I'm doing this, I'm going to get off track again, but is because I'd like to catch people before they just walk. Like, they'll walk in the door and be like, oh, fuck this, and walk back out. I'll be like, hey, wait a minute, can I just talk to you for 1 second before you go? Kind of like that. So, right, back on track. So, about being courageous and about not giving a fuck, because it isn't about other people, It's about you. It's about you learning what you're made of. And that's important for yourself. Especially if you do struggle with low self-esteem. Boy, I knew you were on that screen, Marvin. I could just feel it. He just climbs right up the deck screen now. Hey, boy, come here. Come here. Come on, Mommy's doing some important work. Come here. Come here. Good boy. Hi, baby. Oh, you're so fluffy and cute. Anyway, could keep an eye on him, but he's up to no good. Oh, there's no toys. Oh, here's one. Here. Here. Okay. Crap, where was I? About being brave, courageous, being afraid, taking chances to show yourself what you're made of, yeah. Okay, So this took me a lot of time to be able to do, but I'll just give you an example. I can only show you by showing you myself is how I can teach you, you know? I don't have a manual or anything. Even in my book, I could not possibly show you how I became this way. Even in my book. This just doesn't happen. So anyway, let me just finish. I don't want this one to be too long. Okay. So, for example, I'll give you this example first, and then I'll give you an example where I felt like I wasn't brave. We'll just do different ones. Okay. One day, in my old building, I wasn't with Dixie, thank God. I was my dog. And I walk out in the parking lot, and there's a lady there. And she just moved in the past couple months. And when I go out, and I see her, she's standing there, and I mean, they're not that close. They're a good bit away, but I can still see what's going on. Maybe like 50 feet from the door, if I had to guess. Anyway, I walk out, and she's got her arm up. And he's got her, this man, this tall, older man, has her by the arm. And she's looking up at him like, okay. I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So I'm standing there, and I can't hear what they're saying, but I'm reading the energy of the situation. Like, that's not right. So I got to know this lady later, but I didn't know her then, so I said, "Ma'am, do you know that guy?" And she looked over at me as her arms up. She goes, "No." And I was like, "Oh, hell no." And then I just switched. This isn't like a psycho crazy. It's more of like an authoritative, I will save you, sort of, but not like cheesy or anything. And I just walked up and I was like, "Get your hand off of her." And he did. He let go. And I can't remember everything that I said. But she had gotten out away, and I think this man was a little drunk, maybe on something. I don't know. But he wasn't right. And I ended up chasing him through the parking lot, out onto the sidewalk, and past the little mini mall. It's like a little strip mall. There's like a store, a Subway, a little tiny family restaurant, things like that. I chased him right to there. And I told him, if I ever see you around here again, I'm going to chase you away a second time. I didn't say it like that. I'm just saying it for humor's sake now. But yeah, I told him, if you ever come back, I'm going to do it again. Don't you ever put your hands on a woman like that, ever, for any reason, you know? So, I mean, it took me a while to get like that. Like, for the longest time, I didn't know what people meant when they're like, "You're a vulnerable person." I took it as like an insult, you know? And I'd be like, "Oh, no, you don't know what you're talking about." But I was, you know? And I just think that, yeah. So I'm still on that thought, but because I mentioned about Tony Stark and having PTSD, we're kind of going to loop around and talk about my CPTSD just a little bit. Not the experiences. Hold on, I'm going to lose my train of thought again. Oh yeah, story about the lady about being vulnerable person, that I didn't even know what that was, that I would be in denial of those things. Because I found out that I had this when I think I was 23 or 24. Because in order, like, I just had so much going on that I wasn't able to keep a job, and I had to figure out why anyway, and okay, so then I figured out that I had it. But I didn't really think anything was wrong. When I was younger, I used to call it freakouts. Oh, I had a freak out today. See, this for me most likely started when I was an infant. Not the physical stuff, but just the fact that my adopted, because I was adopted at birth, my adopted parents were always fighting and screaming and yelling at each other. When you're an infant, even being in that environment, it makes you feel unsafe because you are very receptive to energies, especially loud noises, all that. So I was always not feeling safe. All they did was fight. And you know what? I know why. Neither one of those people, because they are, even though sometimes I'll refer to them as monsters, you will always, P.S., you will always see, it's not that I have bipolar. It's like two perspectives, two sides of me, the dark and the light, basically. But it's not that I'm two people, it's the same person, but different expressions of the same individual. To give you an example of this, the goddess Durga, there's the same goddess, but she has many different incarnations. So it's the same consciousness, but I can't remember all their names, so I'll just give you an example. First she was Sarah, then Jane, then Lacey, and then Jenny. You know what I'm saying? But it's the same. So getting off track again. So right, I was an infant. I was going through it. Sorry, I don't remember why I started talking about Durga. Oh, different expressions, my two sides. I can give you right, because the other day I was like, I'm not like that all the time, but sometimes I will be. That's just a way that I express myself, my energy, my heart, my soul, my mind. It's me coming almost like in a story in a book with different characters, but almost as emotions and feelings. Personas, I heard in my head. But I don't have a personality disorder. Okay. Right, about my parents. Neither one of them. And I'm not really sure. It's for different reasons. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's safe to say that. But neither one of them knew unconditional love, so they couldn't give it to me anyway. People can only love you as deeply as they love themselves. Yeah. And P.S., they say, the more you love yourself, people will love you. Yes, but sometimes no. But we're going to get there. I'm going to try to make this video definitely under an hour. So yeah, they did not know that. So they could not teach that to me. They definitely couldn't show that to each other. I was going to talk a little bit about, because my birth mother I was born on the 5th. Her birthday was the 13th, when she would have been 16 years old when she had me, my birth mother. So That's why I was given up for adoption. And my birth father was actually adopted. I met my birth mother, but I talked to my birth father on the phone. We had a few conversations. He just, when it came time to meet me, he couldn't do it. And he just disappeared. You know? He just couldn't do it. I think it brought up too much for him because he left, oh goodness, he had my mom pregnant. Well, he had another lady pregnant. 4 months, I think 4 months ahead of my mom. He chose to be with her, you know, really broke my mom's heart. So it must have just been too much. It doesn't bother me. I've learned, like, did it upset me, especially because we had these talks and stuff like that? Sure, at the time, but you learn to deal with it. And that's where I found out a little bit about my heritage, because even though he was adopted, he knew that his parents, he said, I'm not even sure what this means. I think it has to do with immigration, clearly. But he says his parents came over on the boat. So that's how I knew that I had a little bit of Italian. And he's very tall, too. That's where I get my height. I'm 5'7". So, anyway, let me get back on track here. So not knowing about unconditional love, about bravery. Oh, well, that is a good example. So, you've heard, if you've watched some of my videos, that I talk a little bit about of some of my experiences growing up in my abusive household. And, I mean, this is a little bit different. I'm going to think of something that's, you know, better than, because this is a different kind of example. And you're going to be like, oh, no, you weren't cowardly for this or nothing. I know. So, when I was growing up, even though I was experiencing all of that, I didn't fight back. I wanted to. Yeah. But I think not I think, I know. The one thing, I didn't want to be like them. So I didn't want to hurt others. I didn't want to even hurt them because, like, I think I mentioned this. I did love them at one time. Hmm. So I never fought back. And the one thing I do feel bad about, though, like, you know, is that, oh, I guess the example just came to me. So I didn't go to the authorities, really. Like, I didn't prosecute them. I could have. My group home asked me if I wanted to. I just wanted to get away from it. And so sometimes I feel like maybe I should have. Yeah? I mean, there's nothing I could do about it now. But, so I did just run away. I did. I ran all the way to California from them. Hmm. I don't hang on to it, but it is a good example of not being able to face your fears, you know? And so I do really worry if they hurt other people after I left, because I didn't do anything about them. Mm. I just had like a little bit of flash about how scary that was and like how afraid I was of them. Hmm. So, I mean, I just couldn't. I know I don't need to explain it, but I couldn't. I just wanted to get away from them and feel free and live my life and just be able to live, right? So, okay, so to wrap this up, because I'm going to start getting to the conclusion now, because this video was to basically for people to get to know me a little bit better. But I ran into just one comment, but I've gotten this a lot, and I can rope in that other thing with this. One, there's some people that don't believe me that I have the CPTSD. And technically, even when the lady diagnosed me so that I could get on my disability, to have a support, even like just in case like I wasn't doing well, like that means like so depressed that I'd just be in bed. I couldn't go to work. I couldn't even get up. So on my right, she was the one that said in the medical terms that they had then, she said it probably will be in the future, but she's like, then they didn't have it. But that's why I've always had my disability for all these years, because she said, I'm going to put it on like extended, where so you're not just going to have it for a certain amount of time. It's going to be until like you don't want it anymore, because this is probably going to be with you your entire life. Yeah. And she's like, I mean, it will get better. And she was right, but yeah. So there is that some people don't believe that, because even when I was younger, that's why I didn't think anything was wrong with me. Because people would be like, I think you have PTSD from your childhood. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Only people that go to war get that. You know, I didn't understand. I didn't know. So I thought that myself. And of course it's different in a way. I still worried for my life all the time. When I went to bed, was I going to wake up, because this did happen. Was I going to wake up in the middle of the night and my mom would be grabbing a hold of me, slapping the hell out of me? Ew, maybe let's not talk about that. That's so gross, because, no, I'll just tell you. Ew. So, I guess, yucky, I still remember it. Like, and I told her, I'm like, no, like, why would it be there? Okay, so she gets me up out of bed, drags me to the bathroom, okay? And there's blood on the toilet seat. First of all, I'm not on my period. She doesn't get her period, right? So she had this rage about not being able to have her own children. So I'm pretty sure that's what would cause her to act so violently, because I do have my period. I'm fertile, you know? Anyway, so she points at the toilet seat, but it's at the back of the toilet seat. It was from Steve, my stepdad, and it was from his hemorrhoids. Oh, and she made me clean it up. Oh, God. Yuck, man. Ew. Yeah. Oh. Oh, who wouldn't have fucking PTSD from that? So fucking gross. I forgot how late it was. My window's open. Okay. So, we just fought a different kind of war. You know? I spent a lot of the times 100% almost stressed, because I didn't know when the mood was going to change, when they were going to attack me, how I was going to have to defend myself. So it does have its similarities. Now, it is definitely not as intense as being in a war zone where there's bullets flying everywhere. And I'm sorry if this is too much for some people. Your friends are literally blowing apart next to you. You've had a horrific injury. Like, I know. But there are different degrees to it. Okay? The last thing I want to comment on before I go is that there's been quite a few of these. And I'm used to it. Like, I was like, oh, not surprised. For being judged for a number of reasons. But the number one, for the way that I look. Yeah. The last comment that I read about it was, because it's been since I posted my birthday live stream chat, which I'm super excited about. But ever since I posted that, someone came and said, oh, come on, remember. Oh, yeah, somebody that looks like you, yeah, I'm sure you're lonely. What does it matter what I look like? You know, it's always been like this, our world. Always judging a book by its cover. This has kind of worked in my, by looks, has been in my favor, but also not in my favor. You know? I've had some really hard times where, remember when I just had to go stand out in Walmart and ask for help? Maybe if I didn't look the way I did, maybe they wouldn't have helped me. And I'm not trying to be, arrogant about it, but think about it. I know that and I wasn't really doing all that great that day. It was super humid out and I was sweaty. But there have been times when people have judged me for thinking, ooh, a street rat, a bum. So I know. But the thing is when you are, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but when you are attractive, like I was saying about celebrities, people will treat you differently and want certain things from you. And we all know what I mean. And I appreciate all your supportive comments about it. I know people understand. I do. But there are some people that get offended so easily, and I knew that about the internet. It's not like I was born yesterday. I knew what I was getting into. But, yeah, it's happened a lot. Or people will just see me and think that I have no problems in my life, that everything must be just rainbows, unicorns, and flowers full, or fields full of flowers and daisies. That's what I was trying to say. Rainbows, la, 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 my life is perfect. No, it's not. If you were to ask me if I was happy, yes. I'm happy with myself. I'm happy with my life. There's things that I said, of course, that can prove, that I could make soul connections, that I could have people to go bowling with. I love bowling and ping pong. Tuk, 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 tuk. Oh, I freaking love ping pong. Just to have memories with, That's what family's for too. Do stuff together, make memories together. So, yeah, and there's people that'll look at me and be like, and for different reasons, maybe they think, oh, she wouldn't want to be my friend. I'm not pretty like her. Wait, let me get some more examples. Oh, she looks like that. She doesn't need any more friends. She's probably got enough. For real. Yeah. And it's just something that you have to accept, and I have. But that video I made, it wasn't fake. I don't feel like that every day. Like I said, you can't please everybody. It's some people are worried that I feel like that every day, But if I don't feel like that every day, that means that I was faking it. Okay. But no, what I said is true. And there are reasons why. So, and I've tried to explain, and I will keep somewhat trying, but I was hoping this video wouldn't be as long. Oh well. I'm pretty sure I covered, oh, well, let me just think about it for a second. About me, because I'm not purposely trying to hurt anyone's feelings or offend anyone on purpose. If I've said anything that upsets you, talk to me about it in a respectful way. Because I might not realize, but I definitely do not do it on purpose unless I've purposely said, like, F you. Then I mean F you. Yeah. And however which way I've said it, Mm-hmm. So I had a question, or kind of a comment / question about, and there was a few of them, like, I wish I could be more like that, setting boundaries and just telling people right where to go. I can share more about myself to help you to be able to feel more comfortable doing that. If I can, I'll try. Because I wasn't always like this, you know? Yeah, I remember, where I would want more attention on my looks than who I was as a person, because I figured that's what people valued more anyway, because of low self-esteem, I know. Unfortunately, I do, but I'm glad because I've gained that experience. So it's been helpful, even though it's made me cry sometimes, I mean, not these days, but over my life, especially in my school years, So, mm, yeah. Oh, and about Salem, because oh, don't be mean to the cat. It's not the cat's fault. Okay. God bless Salem Jenkins. He's got a problem. That boy. He's right there sleeping. I know you can hear me, boy. I seen you twitch your ear. I love my fur family. All of them. All the ones that have ever been with me. Even when I was a kid, I still remember them. I still miss them. And I know that I'll see them in heaven. Or where I'm going. Heaven. You're like, oh, you're going to hell. No, I'm in heaven. I just didn't decide which one yet. Where was I? Crap. Oh, Salem. So when you seen Salem jump on the pizza, that guy, before I turned on the video, let me make sure everybody can hear me for sure. Before I turned on the video, Salem had his lunch, he had his snacks, he had all of his loves and mommy loves you, such a good boy, you're handsome, all that, okay? He had his pets, he played with Marvin. I had to keep him away from that pizza over and over again. Salem is fat. Yeah, he's got... That's your fault. Well, sort of, but... So when I had Mr. Sweet Cheeks, he was an older boy and he needed a food for older cats. The one that he would eat was $70 a bag. Yeah, $69.99. So I couldn't afford 2 different kinds of dry food, but I always provided wet food for them, and I would, ooh, this is gross, I don't like making it, but I do, and it stinks. Ugh. It's chicken hearts and chicken livers, and you cook it, and then you like puree it, and it becomes like a cat food. You can add a little water, and it's like cat food. They like it, but it's super gross for me. But yeah, that's how Salem got fat, because there was so many calories in that old man cat food, yeah? So he got fat. And so now he's on a diet. But the boy just loves eating. Like, I'll give you an example. Because I'm like, how do I explain this to him? Because, yeah, I lost my patience with him. I gave him shit. I didn't hurt him. I got him off the pizza. And I told him to go sit his ass down. I'll give you an example. Once, I was right into my show, and I was eating vegetables. I had my plate, okay? I take the broccoli, stab him with the fork. I'm going like this. Well, doesn't he come up, smack the fork with his... I was just glad that it didn't have, like, a bunch of butter on it or anything like that, but make him sick. The broccoli goes flying off into oblivion. He goes running after it. I go running after him. He grabs the broccoli, runs off. This was when I'm living here. Runs off into the bedroom, under the bed. Broccoli's not going to kill him, I know. And he ate it. He did that once with scrambled eggs, and the eggs went flying like confetti. He knows that he's a smart boy. He could have jumped on the couch cushion right there. But he knew where that pizza was. He just didn't know how close it was to the edge, I don't think. That's why he jumped right on top of it. But why didn't you get a plate? Because if I got a plate, like I just told you, he would have snatched it off of the plate. He has a problem. He loves to eat, but it's not good for him because you can give them cat diabetes. All kinds of problems for being fat. I don't have anything against fat people. You know? Fuck. It's so stressful because you just want them to be healthy. I don't want him to get sick going to the vet, you know what I mean? When he jumped on that pizza like that, I was like, I fucking knew it. He just can't leave it alone. Sometimes, I'll go to feed, he does this still. I'll go to feed him and Marvin. It's like he thinks like, I've given Marvin something better. It's the exact same thing. But he leaves his plate. No, this isn't good enough, Mom. No. This one, not good enough. I don't like the color of plate today. This one's not good enough. Walks over and eats Marvin's food. So I'm just like, come here, buddy. We just come over and eat this one then. For Marvin. He used to do that to Mister too. Like, he thinks like, I've given the other cat something better. Like, I mean, he's not a genius, but he's smart for a cat. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm sorry that I reacted that way. But there, now you know. My struggle. He's heavy too. I don't know if he's 20 pounds or not, but when I go to pick him up, sometimes I will lose my balance and fall over. Fall. You know. Oh, cool. You know? Yeah. And then they go running because it's like been this event, you know, timber. Yeah. So I love my babies more than me most of the time. I won't be going to buy sweets or anything that I need. They have what they need, okay? So don't worry about my cats. They live like gods here. So yeah, to wrap this up, I would just ask, because now I don't know if people are even going to watch this, the people that really should. But what can I do, right? Because I thought, well, if it's maybe like 15 minutes max, they might watch it. People who just don't have enough patience, you know? But before you judge somebody, you know, get to know them. That's what truly loving somebody is. That's why I wasn't comfortable with being anybody else or being fake, or someone was like, oh, You need one of those friends to tell you not to post things. No, I fucking don't, because I wouldn't listen to them anyway. Like, no, I'm still gonna do it. Cheers. And it's not because I'm stupid or still a vulnerable person, you know. BC? So that's my message. hmm I had a great day. I'm in a great mood. I feel good. I feel relaxed. Someone wrote a comment like, wash your hair. See, this is why I'm saying people need to listen to the video. And it was in the beginning, too. So I know exactly what they're talking about. Because I even said I was sweating so much, and so my hair was like a little wet. It wasn't greasy, it was literally wet. And I did end up, though, reconditioning it and washing it and everything. And not because of them, but because I was sweating so much the other day. Wash your hair. Fuck you. You wash your hair. Your mama needs to slap you over the head and then give you a hair wash and put some fucking soap in your mouth. And you need Jesus, that's what you need. Okay. Yeah, so just stop judging people, not just me. But you're gonna miss out, you know? Even for like some people that have their stories to share, no matter what it is, you're gonna miss out because we learn from each other. Okay, that's it. I'm tired now. I hope this helps. I'll review it, and then I will I will most likely, because I covered a lot of what I wanted to in one, um, in this video. So I will most likely see you, I hope, on August 4th at my birthday live stream chat, where you can ask questions and we'll just talk and hang out. I'll show you my birthday cake and all that. But yeah, thank you very much for being here with me and watching. I hope you've benefited from this video, and I hope you have a good night. See you. Bye.